What up, y'all? Fixing my camera right now. We're gonna watch this. Looks like they're not going live for another 15 minutes. They lagging. Yo. Let's see, we'll watch something and tell these guys. "12 minutes. Let's see. Watch me. Oh shit! I need to be watching the rest of Mike.
On whether animal agriculture or crop agriculture is more harmful. The whole premise.
Guy, 1.5 years, 2 years. He did not have water once. I'm not kidding when I say this.
Jesus.
He drank only Coke. So obviously there's water in Coke or you die. He was fine. I mean, he looked terrible. He was really like, he looked like that kid who always pukes on the bus in The Simpsons. Remember that in The Simpsons? They had a kid. He always sat in the front of the bus. He was a nerd. He was puke. I called him Barf Bucket. I don't know if that's his name. That's what my roommate looked like. He was pale white. He was from Alaska. He looked sick. You'd go into his room. You'd be blinded by the red, silvery lights of the Coke can glare.
Yeah, they got about 10 more minutes. I guess they had to push the timeline a little bit. We'll watch Mike for a little bit and go back there.
He'd keep all the cans. He never threw them away. 2 liters, Coke cans, long Cokes, short Cokes, big Cokes, Santa Cokes. And he was fine. So you could live off really anything. Just put something in your mouth daily. You'll be fine, I think, pretty much. All right. Let's hear her promises here today, because this gets a little sketchy.
Else from people who want to improve their lives and don't know how to get in touch with me. And
they know how to get in touch.
I don't have enough time to respond to all the emails
then don't
and the
respond.
DMs and everything. And
then make a video. You know what I mean? So she's trying to set this up like, I want to help people, but only people that have $600. As if that's like an excuse to charge $600. It really doesn't add up.
really feeling like I'm missing out on a lot of people. check it out. This is a group full of people who are really interested in optimizing their lives, meeting like-minded individuals. We're going to have twice yearly events that'll
Wow.
take place in wild places. I'm thinking Romania or Thailand or
What?
something crazy.
Oh my God. Wait, I didn't even hear that part. That's even crazier. Join the group today for only the low price of $5.99. You get nothing. You get access to me, Jordan Peterson's daughter. I'll give you tips from my bedroom about eat meat. That's it. And then we're going to have events yearly. I'm thinking wild places like Romania.
So you have to pay for your ticket to Romania.
So now I got to go to
also?
fucking Romania for what? To eat some weird cut of beef? Why would anyone want to go to Romania? And you know, she spends a lot of time. 2 weeks out of the year, she'll be in Moscow. You go, what the fuck are you doing in Moscow? And then 3 weeks out of the year, I'm in Romania. Why? What is going on in all these odd countries? This is like Homeland. I think she's like the girl from Homeland, but we don't know she's CIA. She's got all these ops she's got to go to. You want to go to Romania? 600.
I want to change some of this online interaction that I've been having with people into actual real life interaction. And I've been missing the social connection that you get with actually talking to people. So I'm really looking forward to this group as a way to actually connect with people who really want to improve their lives, really want to change things, maybe need a support group, kind of like an external family.
Oh.
Priced it high enough to get rid of the trolls and the
Priced it high enough to get rid of the trolls. So this is what she's saying. So what are the trolls? Well, a lot of you guys have infected this meat group by giving some bad faith, false information. So a lot of Red Bar people, what they like to do, they'll go into the meat group and they'll be like, hey guys, just started the carnivore diet 2 days ago. I feel great now. I've been eating a lot of, and they'll make a joke.
Human flesh.
And they'll see who goes along with it, so they troll the meat group. She's going to use this price point as a reason.
I
Now,
don't think
why
that
can't
the
there be
people that are paying care about the trolls
No.
also?
And
So
it's
why would
like
that
the
be-
trolls, I've been watching this whole thing, like the trolls in a group aren't really affecting anything. It's just a joke and everyone knows they're trolls and they get out of there. So this is an excuse.
And the trolls aren't stopping Michaela from connecting
No.
with these people.
And none of her other users complain about the trolls. Only Michaela cares.
Exactly.
So charging her users $600 because there's trolls is a double fuck you to the other users. Here.
high enough to get rid of the trolls and the people who harass me because I'm Jordan Peterson's daughter
Harass?
or I'm on a diet. And I'm trying to really focus in on people who really want to optimize their lives and want to meet more like-minded people.
Meat.
So I'm hoping that this will kind of move the whole
Meat.
digital thing I've been experiencing to something that's more real, more family-oriented-ish, and just kind of a room full of people who want to be bosses, basically.
People who wanna be
So
bosses.
swipe up to check it out.
Do you hear this terminology? Now, where did you get this terminology? Do you want to be a boss? Do you want to be a badass boss? Then join the Lions. Look at this. Strictly limited to the first 100 fast-acting badass bosses only.
Jesus.
You would only write that if you were a bad person. Ready to go from struggling and feeling drained to being filled with high energy and loving your life?
Is that a guarantee?
Click to play.
All right.
I'm
What's that? Is it just me? That was a fun little way to start the show.
Yeah. Whoops.
Oh, it was all
5 and
good.
60 minutes. What the
Oh,
hell?
really?
Really?
Oh. Yeah, echo going. 60 minutes, they really roll it back that far? Or is it going?
We are not monetized. We don't get any money from YouTube or anything like that. We don't have a subscription. But if you want to support us, the way to do it is to go onto the website, and let me just put the QR code up right here. Where's my QR code gone? This is how you do it. You go onto the
You hear me?
website and you purchase something because every bit of profit
I
from
hear
those
you.
things goes straight into our Rise Above bank account, and that pays for this show to carry on for the software licenses. Yeah. So if you want to support us, just buy a little sticker or something. You don't have to buy a t-shirt. A sticker's 75 pence. And actually the markup on the stickers is quite good. So that supports us more. If you don't want to buy a t-shirt,
75
Just
pence.
Just buy fucking loads of stickers.
just buy a few stickers, comrades. It's much
You can also
appreciated.
buy some of these. Do you get the? You can also buy some of these.
Right. We've done our introductions. We're now waffling a little bit. I'll give us a 0 in.
Yeah. There we go.
Yeah, let me take one of those.
I just snorted one before the show.
Did you? You busted double drop a 0 in. Just using some of this nootropic brain enhancers.
This is Inspector Veg approved. This is Inspector Veg
right.
approved.
Let's
and
get down to
FDA.
business. Let's
It's a nice brain chocolate.
Tonight we've got a showdown or a debate. It's not going to be too heavy.
It's always mind blowing to
It's
me how
a
much of
backbite,
the
right? So
how much of the
old
vegan
thing,
scene
you
is
know,
like
everyone
really
started
heavy
going
into
vegan a few years
UK
ago. No,
culture.
this is the most healthy diet. You must be vegan.
Yeah, well,
and
it's
then
big
recently
out
we've
there.
had this new. I don't
Yeah.
want to say it's a new trend, but
I always kind of
certainly
overlook like it's
emerged
a
being a carnivore.
it's a
and, like,
pretty
literally
small
just eating meat.
area, like as far as how big the land
We're gonna
is.
have both
but
of those opinions
you know,
represented right
vegan
now. So I'm
starts
just gonna
making
invite my
impact.
guests on
It's
one
going
by
to be a
one.
lot
I'm
more.
going to do
like,
Carnivore
potent.
Fitness first because we didn't quite get her for a sound check. So I'm going to welcome Rachel, Carnivore Fitness. to
But
the
yeah, that's
show.
where a lot of our vegan media
Hello.
comes from.
Hi,
It's
how you doing?
such a big deal.
Yeah,
over
good,
there.
thank you.
Excellent. All right. So yeah, welcome to Rise Above. Let's also welcome Sasha Wild. Welcome to Rise Above.
Oi, oi.
And we will also welcome Inspector Veg.
How's it going, guys? Sasha, Rachel, Veg. How's it going?
Welcome. Right. So I'm just going to mute you three while I set out how we're going to do this. What we want to be talking about is the benefits of your
There we
chosen
go.
diet
Jesus
options.
Christ.
We don't really want to be talking about
Sorry.
morality and
Are
ethics.
you
I
good?
think what we want to talk
Technical
about
difficulties.
is the benefits
bit.
to our meat suit of choosing this particular diet path. Why we should be
Braxton, can
doing
you
it,
put the
why we shouldn't do
stream
it.
on your
And the opening
phone and
round,
just play it like in the
each of you is gonna
background
have
with
up to
the sound
15
down,
minutes.
just so
It
we
can be
have
short as 5 minutes. It could be 10 minutes.
better
if you like,
algorithm.
15 minutes max. To put across your
Yeah.
point, your across
Thanks.
your point of view.
I mean,
We
that is
won't
if
have
you're
any
not using your
interruptions that
phone.
other people will be
No,
muted.
no.
We don't really want you to address each other.
I
At
just
the
might have a
start.
little bit of a
Hear
learning curve trying to
why
figure that out on the fly here.
your chosen diet or your point of view is,
See what I
is
can do.
preferable. And then once we've had everyone, all three,
Like play it off my
we'll
YouTube
then
channel.
open it up.
Yeah.
That's right. And I encourage all of you guys to take notes whilst the other.
That's your thing.
Trying to do some mental math, figure out how to make this work real quick. Let's see.
Like the meme, all the math equations.
The guys to
Just
speak
floating
so
around.
you don't forget if you want to address
And
something.
obviously, in that second round, you guys can address each other. We'll also take questions from people in the live chat, which we'll put on the screen as well. So is it? Let me just unmute you guys. Is everyone?
I'll just say, just before we get going, just this is everyone's personal opinion, right? So, Sasha, I believe he's representing he's talking about being a vegan, but
Yeah.
he doesn't represent the whole vegan community. This is just Sasha. So we don't want any backlash. No one throwing their toys out the pram, stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Before
So
we start, how do I get people to watch? Because I've sent the link that I had, and it's just taken them to your channel.
By the way, do you mean this stream, like what we're
okay.
doing?
Yeah.
The link I sent
Okay.
you should take.
Just
you
watch it.
straight
Just
to
put it on your
the-
YouTube and let it run.
It doesn't do that.
Okay,
do you want me to
let's-
quickly
Just
do
so
that?
like someone else is watching.
We can do
Okay.
that.
Get those numbers, man.
Gotta get those numbers
I'll
up.
do some comments here quickly, just while Lance.
Did
is,
you want me to ping that over to you, Rachel?
Yes,
faffing around.
please.
Okay,
Yeah.
let me do that really quickly. Andy, you address people.
Yeah. So we've got some regulars tuned in. I think, big shout out to Steve since our dread. He's tuning in from Portugal. I see you there in the chat, my man. Glitterati.
Sorry, I just had to.
That's
get
all
the
right.
link
That's
for
all
it.
right. I will just say as well, I think Sasha is in a bar or a restaurant or something like that. So there might be some background noise during his
Oh, no,
presentation.
not
guys.
Oh,
Just
no.
bear with him.
A bar.
Okay, I'm just sending this over to Rachel.
Mate, there's a lot of people in the chat I don't recognise. This is
Well,
good.
yeah,
This is good.
that's good that we've got some new people tuned in. And for anyone that's
sure.
new to us, we do try and broadcast.
I think
pretty
as
much every
well. I'm not
Friday night.
entirely sure. I think I saw Jason Archaics mention that he was doing a show on Friday, so I'm not
Right,
sure if that
okay.
is coinciding with ours at all.
Right.
We've got 101 peasants tuned in. So.
Right, Sasha, we're going to have your point of view first, mate. So you've got up to 15 minutes. You're going to be representing being a vegan. You're a passionate vegan. I'll put your Instagram up here as well. So if you want to check out Sasha on Instagram, and we'll just unmute you, mate. So yeah,
It's cool.
I'm all right for a drink. You've got, mate. You've got a couple of
Still
minutes to
having a
introduce
moment here,
yourself,
trying to
and then
figure
you've
this
got
out.
your 15 minutes. Go for it.
All right. So basically, I found holistic health after I found yoga. So I found Ayurveda, and that led to me getting a lot more grounded and embodied with the breath work and
So just
yoga and
turn the
nervous
mic
system work
down
with
on your
the
phone now,
herbs and
or the
everything.
speaker
And
down on your phone.
through that, I found urine therapy, and that kind of
On your
kicked it
phone,
up
yeah.
a whole new level. And one of my friends was like, "Whoa, you're on the urine therapy, yeah? You're gonna like this guy. He's a complete kook." So I checked out this guy, tried this protocol. I literally cried because I felt so alive. Like I cried. I was like, "This is what it feels like to be truly alive." You know, proper living food. So I spent about a month eating just raw vegan, because that's what I'm promoting is raw vegan, not
Okay,
veganism.
good to make that
Because
clear.
yeah, that's the distinctive thing.
Oh,
Is
okay. I wasn't. I didn't know that. Okay, raw vegan.
yeah. So the vegan diet, typical vegan diet, is what I would call slaves' food. It's food for slaves. So you'll have the elite, which will be like the people who eat carnivore or eat keto, the controllers, like the government, all them type of crime. Then you'll have the people who eat the slaves' food. They eat the beans and the grains. They eat the rough veg. They eat all this cooked stuff. They eat fuck all fruit. Basically tons of endocrine disruptors, oxalates, phytates, anti-nutrients, phosphates, just basically loads of food that humans would never look at twice. You know, you're walking in nature, you don't glance at it twice. You see it, you go, you don't look at it twice. Then there's a lot of the produce that we have is actually picked unripe, and when it's picked unripe, there's the defense chemicals, because it's like it wants the seed to ripen so it can reproduce. So
Now
in
he's
order
gonna
to make sure that that happens, the leaves, they're going to contain a certain amount of defense chemicals, so then the photosynthesis continues to happen. The fruit is even going to contain a whole bunch of defense chemicals, up until a certain point. So if it's still green when it's supposed to be red, then it's going to contain all this shit that we don't want. So when it's commercially picked, that gets picked, and then people get ill, stuff like that happens. Now we got seed oils, yeah? Seed oils, super carcinogenic. Like Rachel's probably going to talk a whole bunch about those. But what they do is they go with the AGE, aging, advanced glycation end products. And me personally, I've just been ill recently because I'm out here, I'm by myself, I've had to relocate, I've had all this shit happening recently. Past couple of years, I've been eating way too much comfort food, and I got ill recently because I was eating loads of fried foods. But yeah, fundamentally, what we are as a species is
fried food.
We're frugivores.
Yeah.
So if you look at us physiologically, we are physiologically designed and structured in every single way to walk around, forage, like look at color, find stuff, climb, pick, like stretch to climb, stretch to like reach across and stuff like that, and that's about it. We're physiologically adapted to eat, to digest, to assimilate, and to eliminate. Like
but not raw
fruit. So when I say fruit, I mean fruit, nuts, seeds, and I'll go into like the specifics of like the rest of our diet like in a little bit. But we're even less physiologically adapted to eat meat, to kill animals, to hunt animals than our like ape cousins. You know, we've got less strength, blah, 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 blah. So, you know, there's a lot of conjecture about like back in the day when we found meat and when we spent loads of time surviving on meat, that our brains got bigger. And it's like, yeah, maybe our brains did get bigger because of meat, but did they get more intelligent? Not so much. Like we probably got more intelligent because of fasting, because of having to adapt to adverse situations, circumstances, and fruit as well. You know, you've got to learn when they're ripe. You've got to see the flowers. You've got to learn when the seasons are working, when the cycles are working, when the moon cycles are working. You've got to learn a lot of stuff. So you've got to be intelligent. Your intelligence, your intelligence expands basically. So yeah, like most cooked food, including meat and including dairy, including eggs, it's comfort food. It's emotional eating. Yeah, we're not really designed. Our DNA isn't structured to properly assimilate flesh or eggs or you know, as adults particularly, we're not designed to suckle off another animal, particularly like bovines. You know, if we were going to suckle off an animal, it'd be probably monkeys or something like that. So it's like the fact that we're drinking like cow's milk, it's weird as fuck, you know. But yeah, so starches, like cooked starches or like refined flours, stuff like that, it creates glue. It's like glue-like kind of
Sugar
stuff
makes our blood
stuck
sticky.
in your like dehydrated, fermenting glue structure in the gut lining, and that kind of cakes, ferments, dehydrates. It messes with the absorption of nutrients. It messes with the microbiome. It creates dysbiosis, and it stops absorption and it stops the endogenous biosynthesis, so the creation of nutrients in the gut, because that's what all animals do. And that's why we don't need to eat meat, and that's why we don't need to get our nutrients from meat. That's why, you know, loads of people say there's essential nutrients missing from a vegan diet. There isn't. It's because, like all other animals, what we do is we endogenously biosynthesize in our gut if our microbiome is working properly. It's just like, you know, we create hormones. We don't have to eat something because they have hormones. It's just stupid chemistry. It's just stupid logic. But yeah, basically starches, particularly grains and beans, you know, they shred the stomach lining. They create leaky gut that leads to eczema, autism, ADHD, depression, fibromyalgia, diverticulosis, and it even contributes to cancer in part.
At least he's going.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a chimera-headed beast. But yeah, after I had a car crash, so I was living really good on 70 to 80% raw vegan. The rest was cooked. And then I had a car crash, and that kind of fucked my nervous system up a bit. And it kind of led to a whole bunch of series of nasty events that I'm not really going to get into. Yeah, I can see that the background noise is a bit shit, but it's just how it is.
Yeah, we apologize.
Yeah. Hopefully this will be a little bit better if I hold my mic like this. But But yeah, so I actually experienced what's called peripheral neuropathy from eating too much junk food, eating too much like tortilla chips, crisps, stuff like that after the car crash. After I was trying to get hold of my nervous
which was still all vegan, Sasha.
Yeah, pretty much.
You
like,
just you said junk vegan.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So yeah, I it got to about 50%, and from what I've learned and what I've experimented with, 70 to 80% is like minimum. Like you go below 70 to 80%, then you start to get into craziness. You start to get into gut problems. You start to get into depression, malabsorption issues, all sorts of mental health issues, and that's kind of like the traumas that I was going through at the time. They got exacerbated. I'm not going to lie. I made it worse by the comfort food that I was eating, but it was the only thing I could do. I was drinking as well. I was even sniffing cocaine again. I'm not going to lie.
Wait.
And then when I found the carnivore movement, I'd already experimented with meat. I started to experiment with meat a bit more. So I had like fried chicken, had like raw meat. I had a raw steak like beginning of this year, something like that. No, beginning of last year.
Don't start eating tortilla chips, or you're gonna start doing coke.
Yeah, so I've tried meat. I know what it feels like to have meat. I haven't just gone vegan and just fucked it off and forgot about it. I've like delved into it. Like Like the people who are backing Rachel, like I've looked into them, I listened to their presentations loads. I know what they're all about, and I've tried it, and it's like it feels like drugs. It's like when you find peace,
Maybe
when
the
you find
drugs
real
feel like
centeredness and like
They're hormones you're
openness
feeling.
and like when you eat meat again, it's like it's like drugs. It's like
Yeah,
fucking amphetamines or
hormones.
cocaine.
Animal
It's
hormones.
fucking crazy.
Death
And then
hormones,
it just feels
dying
really
hormones,
weird in the digestive
miserable
system. It
hormones.
doesn't feel as bad as beans and grains. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. Beans and grains is awful, but yeah. I actually reversed my beans and grains. Yeah, so like standard, like vegan food, beans and grains. You like a dal with a, it's just it's so bad for the digestive system, especially if you've got leaky gut already. You can really feel it. If you've got a hernia, like my hernia would pop out, and I would be like, as soon as I put something in my mouth that it had too many times, So I know what the gut doesn't like, and it's like, that's my gut, and it's like, nah, like we are one species. We have blood groups. Tribes have traveled in different places. They traveled different ways. They've eaten different things for a long time. Some people, they have like predispositions towards certain illnesses with certain foods. Some people have no problems with certain foods at all. They've got, constitutional strengths. Some people are really good with meat. Some people are much better with dairy. Some people are what's called a lactase persister, which is a mutation that the Maasai have and that certain white tribes have, which means that beyond
What's that?
all right, shit, yeah. Beyond weaning, we can continue to eat dairy to a certain extent. But yeah, so our actual diet is sweet fruit, sour fruit, what's called non-sweet fruit like cucumbers, tomatoes, okra, courgettes, some squashes when they're picked at the right time, bell peppers, tender leafy greens, not rough greens, nuts when they're kind of like rinsed by rain and dew and stuff like that, not picked.
That's hardcore
because
natural.
otherwise they got anti-nutrients in up the yin yang. If they're sprouted, it's particularly good. High fat fruits, seeds, seed sprouts, some herbs, even some mushrooms for medicinals. So yeah, I mean, as far as I know, basically we've got two eye colors. Yeah, we've got First Nations, then we've got like sort of whitish people.
He's a
We've
little
got
out there with his
blue
eyes.
eye color, and then we've got an ochre fiery brown color. And white Caucasians, tribes like that, we've got brown and green eyes. We shouldn't have that. That's toxic eye color. And as far as and my peer group, they're like literally detoxing to the point where they can change from brown to green to blue. You can't argue with that kind of level of shit. And as far as I know, none of the keto and carnivore
eye
camp.
color from detoxing.
Poop
Yeah, I'm doing it right now. I used to have brown, like most of my eye is green right now. It's gone from different shades of green to like lighter green.
Okay.
I've got a brown ring, which has gone a lot lighter. As far as I know, none of the keto and carnivore camp are doing this. And as far as I know, none of them are
for a while now.
rejuvenating to such a state that they are regrowing tissues at the level that the raw vegans I know are. And let me see, even Anthony Chaffee, this guy, Anthony Chaffee, like, he's been doing this 25 years of mostly meat or like mostly exclusively meat with some cheese or whatever every now and then. And he still has bags under his eyes like I did. Like I rejuvenated these bags under my eyes, and then after the car crash and after having some opium for 2 weeks for a laugh, these bags came back. So yeah. Yeah, it's kind of a no-brainer, really. Like, it's like if you look at all other species that eat meat naturally, like consistently, instinctively, and then look at us. I mean, you walk around, do you salivate when you see a cow? No, you go, oh, that's kind of cool creature, You look at any creature, you're like, oh, that's kind of cool. You don't go, oh, I want to run over it and fucking kill it. That's basically it.
Do that after you've had
So people can do what they want. People can eat what they want. If you want to get a buzz, if you want to get pumped, like if you want to get super stacked eating meat, and do it, like whatever. But if you want to be optimally healthy, happy, in harmony with nature, eating your species-specific diet, eat mostly vegan or exclusively vegan. It's just it's just logic, basically. It's just harmony with nature.
Okay, cool. That's very interesting.
You've actually left
Sasha.
20 seconds on the clock there, Sasha.
I just should we ask Sasha some questions that I've written down, or should we wait till everyone?
Let's
has
wait
had
until
to go?
everyone's got
Okay.
their point out. So, Sasha, I'm going to thank you very much for your first opening
lot of
statement.
questions.
Yeah, it was really good. Thanks, man.
Really good. So just to clarify, he's talking raw vegan, frugivore, and eating certain veg. Right. Next up, we're going to have the absolute opposite end of the spectrum. I can see she's been sat there very patiently. This is Rachel, Carnivore Fitness. Welcome back, Rachel.
Hello. So now you want me to sell you
Here we
this
go.
diet, but really it doesn't need to be sold because everyone's health is all that needs to be seen. I don't need to go into all of that Sasha just did and still clearly have bad health myself. So I don't need to do that. Last time I spoke to Sasha, he was telling me about his bad health problems. Fast forward, I don't know, has it been a year or two? And he's still having health problems. Why is that? Just that's one of the comments I'm going to say there.
Okay.
I would like to respond to one thing that he said about Dr. Anthony Chafee
he's
having
doing
bags under his eyes.
cocaine.
And that man works at least 110 hours every week. And he's a
That's
doctor and
great
does all sorts of
example.
things. Plus, he does his YouTube channel
Yeah.
outside of that.
I can
So show me
imagine
anyone that
if
could
we
be
were up
standing
there.
and be as mentally stable as a man like
Probably
that.
do the likes of
on
party a
vegan
little bit
diet.
in
I
between
don't
the
think
raw
you'd be able
vegan
to do that.
lifestyle.
So basically,
a little bit
what
too much
you said
information
about us
there,
not being
buddy.
naturally,
Yeah.
you're saying that we're frugivores. Well, obviously, right now, I kind of want to ask Sasha some questions, but can I do that yet, or do I need to wait?
Well, what we'd rather you do at the moment is put forward why you think the
Yeah,
carnivore
that's not that
diet
part
is
of the debate
optimal,
yet,
is
lady.
the most beneficial.
Opening
before I get you
statement
three
time.
to interact. So I just want to get
Okay.
everyone's point of view clearly on the table first.
Okay.
First of all, tell our viewers about yourself. So you are you're sort of like a fitness influencer, is that correct?
I don't know if I'm an influencer, but
I don't know that term either, to be honest.
No. I am someone who is freedom loving and has been, fighting a good fight for a little while. And before that, I was really unhealthy. I've got 4 children. I'm 40 years old. I got myself into some bad health after my 4th child. And I decided that I wanted to make a change. And I come across the keto diet, which is basically what I'm doing now, but with some fruits, some low sugar fruits and vegetables. And I used to do net carbs so that I could eat the most amount of veg that I could. And then I came across someone called Sean Baker, and I did see someone mention him earlier as well.
Someone
No, he's
called
not on
Sean Baker.
TRT.
It was locally.
So I came across Sean Baker, Dr. Sean Baker, and I thought this guy's mad, absolutely insane. There's no way that I can feel better if I cut out the veg. But what happens is once I listened to him talking and listened to a few videos, I started to realize when I ate broccoli, asparagus, all that kind of stuff, oh, actually, I'm getting some side effects. I'm getting bloated, I'm feeling tired, all that kind of stuff. So the more I listened, the more I thought, actually, it does make sense. I've started out thinking that absolutely mental. And then one day I woke up and I thought, I'm actually just going to try it, see what happens, and just jump all in. So I did. And actually part of it was to disprove the diet because I thought that vegetables were really important and that you needed as many as you can on your plate. And I would always say I was a meat eater, although I did go for a phase of not eating meat. But yeah, if you look at the standard plate, it's 70% plants and only 30% meat. The rest is like your carbs and your fruits and vegetables. Yeah, so I decided to jump all in. And by day 3, I was convinced that that's it. This is where it's at. I felt so amazing. Just to backtrack a little bit, when I was keto, I was literally just meat, veg, and some low sugar fruits. And then taking out the veg and low sugar fruits, I had a massive change in my diet. I reversed all my health issues. My body composition got better. Everything improved. And then from there, I've just gone on. And in April, it's going to be 5 years that I've been on the diet. I did recently doing it like a test to see what happens if I was to cheat. And I had 2 weeks free time where I could cheat if I wanted to. I didn't cheat every day. But what I found is some side effects came back. So I'm just kind of getting back to normal now. And but apart from that, in this diet, I have been solidly carnivore for 5 years in April, apart from them 2 weeks. So, and I was still carnivore then. My meals were mostly, all of my meals were just meat, but I was eating some chocolate or whatever as well, which I wouldn't advise, by the way. And it's just cemented to me that my diet is the right thing and I can carry on doing it. And Sean Baker is still not on TRT, guys. And what I do now is I coach, I help people with the diet, and I coach a lot of vegans, ex-vegans that
all the carnivore
completely
dudes
destroyed their health through the vegan diet. And those people then completely recover their health just from dropping all the plants and going on the carnivore diet. When you look at what we need as humans, that everything that we need is in meat, absolutely everything, nothing's missing. You cannot say that about the vegan diet, and vegans know this themselves, and they will mostly admit it. And they would all admit that they're on some sort of supplements and things because of the gaps in the diet. Now, if the vegan diet is the human diet, like I think that the carnivore diet is, you shouldn't need to supplement, because how would you do that years ago before consumerism? It's just unheard of. You would just die out. Humans would just die out, wouldn't they? Because there's no
some of these people still sell supplements.
So to keep the humans
they think
going,
that they're absorbing
strong,
all the nutrients they need.
you follow a diet that is natural to you.
Really
and I mean, as for vegans saying that we're frugivores, well then what about the people that live in Antarctica where there's no? If all humans are frugivores, how are they still surviving when they live in Antarctica and there's no virtually any plants at all?
The Inuit people.
Not well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
Inuits don't live past 50.
They've obviously gone beyond that now, and it's not just the Inuits out in Antarctica, but
they've
all of that.
exhumed.
Sorry, I lost my train of thought.
Eskimos,
but basically, the basics are everything you
200
need
years ago,
is in
and
meat.
they're completely.
You don't have to eat dairy, and you don't have to eat eggs. But
Like
eggs, I do see as a superfood. And if we're not meant to eat eggs or meat, why do we have a stomach acid of 1.5?
See, there's always a lot of cherry picking involved.
And that stomach acid is to split protein.
varies.
So that would be completely irrelevant.
All over the place. Carnivores think that it's solid at one.
I don't need to do a big sell because
that's fine. But you've done 10 minutes, so we said you can do 10. If you've got any other closing statements.
That was just something for story. Like, these people don't know how to debate. They don't understand what a debate is.
I am looking forward to the
it's a lot of anecdotes I've noticed too.
I want to.
An opening statement is a part of the
Carnivore
debate.
Fitness, diet coach. Thank you very much.
I mean, clearly there was no premise or anything like that.
Representing.
Yeah, they're just kind of telling their really sloppy background stories of how they got to where they are.
Diet. It's now time to complete the triad. Is everyone ready for Inspector Veg?
Let's bring him out.
Right, Veg. It's your time, brother. You've got. We'll
hopefully
start the
this
timer.
guy.
You don't need any introduction. You've been on the show multiple times. Everyone knows who you are. But I think you might.
We need somebody a little more well balanced.
What you're about to say.
You've kind of nutty
15
so
minutes
far.
starting from now.
Yeah, what's happening, man? You called here. I said so. Thank you very much as well for Sasha for coming on.
Interesting seating position
for Carnivore Fitness, because it's good that people are actually researching it and looking into what they are actually eating. Because in this day society, I just see people just eat anything, and I think that that's okay, and I don't think it is. But yeah, as Sasha started off, I said he started off on the urine therapy, which I've heard a lot of things people talking about urine therapy, but I'm not really on it. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, you sound fine.
Yeah, you sound it loud and clear.
Yeah, I've heard about the urine therapy thing, and I'm not really on it, to be honest.
And I got a bowl right here. I'm going to try it
There might
out.
be some benefits in that, but I'm going to leave that one for you, Sasha.
I had some buddies that would get,
yeah, for the raw vegan
screaming
thing,
at me
what was
about
he
that
saying?
shit. I'm like, you make your kids drink their own urine?
You
They
get
all mad. I'm like,
you can address Sasha and Rachel's points.
I'm glad I never got pulled in any of those categories.
We just want to hear yourself for your personal view of what the diet should be.
I think that Rachel's been doing it 5 years, yeah, and she said at first she went into a vegan diet and she tried it and she was fasting and went into the purification process and stuff like that.
Why would you do that?
Detoxing the body. So it kind of went wrong. So then she went back to meat, and now she's saying, "Oh, the whole world should be eating meat." But I just believe that if she did that, then that just means it didn't work for her. That doesn't mean
it
that
could have
doesn't mean it
worked for
wouldn't
her,
work for
but she
someone
didn't
else. And
take
it's
it
like
serious enough.
even
And
with
then
the
she
vegan
quit.
thing, I believe that everyone's an individual, and people have just got to work
And
out
then
what's best
and
for our
then
own
when
bodies
these
because we're all
people
different.
quit,
If
they
you look at
grab
like
onto the
Africans,
carnivore
they would
shit
come
in
from
that
hot climates
community and
where
talk
their
shit because it
ancestors
was
would be
something they
eating
failed
mangoes
at,
and
and they don't want
papayas
to
and
blame it on
coconuts and stuff like
themselves.
that. So
They want to blame it on the
naturally, they would be
diet.
able to survive on
Yeah, I know a couple
vegan
of people
diet.
like
But if you
that
look at
too.
And
Europeans,
these people aren't
Caucasians, their
vegan.
ancestors in the
They're
winter
plant-based
wouldn't have
fad
been eating
dieters.
fruits and stuff like that. Would have been possibly been eating
Temporary.
animals. So I just think that
Yeah, I
first
started out plant-based, but
I
once I
first jumped
started
on a
to
vegan
look more
thing, I went
into it, it's like,
deep
yeah,
into
you
the
start to do the right
purification
research so
process.
you
I'm
know
pretty
how
sure
to
I've gone
adapt.
Might
further
as well
into
just
the
fucking get
purification
into it.
process with the electric foods. I don't know if people heard of Dr. Sebi, then Sasha and Carnivore have gone. And I just think that when there's so much pain borrowed inside us, we project that onto the outside world and we say, you're doing this wrong and they're doing this wrong and they're eating the animals and that. But I think the real problem is the pain that we carry inside ourselves. And when we haven't dealt with that pain, we try to project that onto the outside world and say it's a problem with what everybody else is doing. So fundamentally, there are truths in what both parties are saying. What Sasha's saying, there's a lot of truth. If you went and you researched Dr. Robert Morse, he'd be singing the same story as Sasha, and there'd still be a lot of truth in what he's saying, and he'd be very, very scientific. And if you went into Natasha Campbell, which is talking what Carnivore's saying, there'd be truth in what she's saying, and she's very scientific as well, because Robert Morse will be helping people to using herbs and fruits, many thousands of people from helping healing people with chronic health conditions. He lived for 4 years on fruits and 6 months on just oranges in a camper van. Then he made the science of human regeneration, how to regenerate every system in the human body using fruits and herbs. You can check out the Detox Miracle Source book by Dr. Robert Morse. So that's another truth there.
People should be doing like a primer on how to debate, like
what Sasha's
what a
saying.
structured
But then if
debate
you look
looks
at
like
Natasha Campbell,
before
people with
going on basically just doing a glorified
and
podcast.
she's helping to people. She's got something called the GAPS diet, where she's helping people to rebuild their gut bacteria using animal products. So there's many sides to different arguments. So that's why I don't like to. Nothing really in health is black and white. That's the way I see it. So yeah, and as for the raw vegan diet, I mean, if Carnivore's got she's a single mum and she's got 4 kids and stuff like that, and she's doing a raw vegan food diet, I think that's going to bring a lot of emotions to the surface, which the raw vegan diet does. And I don't think that would be very practical for her if she's trying to look after 4 kids. She's a single mother and she's living in London, and she's got a lot of things that she needs to deal with, like she's got responsibilities and stuff like that. So it's hard for me to kind of really.
So you're saying, Vez, that the raw vegan diet will bring out emotions deep within you?
Deep, man.
Yeah,
It'll make you
okay.
very, very sensitive, and there's a lot of things you'll have to face, and there's a lot of pain. And remember, a lot of us are dealing with
well, it's like
unmet needs from our primary caregiver.
the raw vegan people are almost as bad as like these guys that say they get their meat from the Amish. You know, it's like not everyone can do that. So your argument is kind of irrelevant because we're looking at, you know, a much bigger picture here than just what you're doing personally.
Really uncomfortable.
Yeah, raw vegan's kind of a little bit of an outlier. I mean, it's not the standard that should be recommended across the board by any means.
Let's say has got a construction company in the center of London, has got a mortgage and 4 kids and stuff like that.
If you're raised up on standard American diet,
might
you're
need a
eating
steak
junk
or
all the
something
time,
like
and then you try to transition into just eating
or some eggs or
raw
something like that, 'cause
fiber,
he's got to
raw
get through
fruit,
that, and
everything like that.
He ain't got time
You're
to
gonna
be
have
rolling
some gut
around
upset,
on the floor
probably.
crying about his
You gotta
dad
transition
not
a
giving
little
cuddles and shit like that. So it's do you get what I'm saying?
More meat, more responsibilities.
Yeah. Do you get what I'm saying? And like Sasha's saying, we're physically designed to eat fruits and vegetables and herbs and stuff like that. And if you can see like Dr. Sebi and stuff, electric foods and stuff like that, yeah, maybe. But we're not living in nature right now. We live in this like the concrete mechanism. We're enslaved by money. So it's very dense what we're saying now. And
something good to say.
Yeah, it's hard,
even
man.
though he's
It's hard at the same
half-assing
time.
it.
So also, I want to say is, and it depends on what you're trying to achieve. If you're looking at some of the greats, like whether it be Jesus or Buddha or Yogananda or Sri Yakaswar, Lahiri Masai or Thich Nhat Hanh or Ramana Maharshi, spiritual masters and stuff like that that neutralize the thought waves, turn the attention inwards and get into high states through meditation. A lot of these people would have been on a vegetarian diet, definitely. So I'm not really on anyone's side, really. I'm just happy that Sasha's thinking about it and that Carnivore is thinking about it, and people are actually thinking about what they put in their bodies, which is a really good thing. Let me just see if there's anything I wrote down. And
you would have about 5 minutes left on your.
Yeah, I'd say. And as for the term vegan, I'd get rid of that, because it's like, as I say, there's one cup. You drop that cup on the floor and it smashes into loads of pieces. That's Tony, that's Sam, that's Sarah, that's a Muslim, that's a Christian, that's a vegan. Vegans don't exist. It's just something that we identify with. So essentially, when we put a name on a nameless, we're just reinforcing the illusion of separation. So I'd say we're just awareness. We're all out here. We're trying to do our best and what we can do so we can move forward and we can grow. But I just think the vegan and vegetarian movement, the thing is very divisive sometimes. I don't think, oh, I'm right and you're wrong, and why are you eating these dead animals, and I'm like self-righteous. I just don't think that that's very healthy. I think that the biggest gift we can give to ourselves is our own self-realization, and just be there, be loving, be caring, and be compassionate. And then if we're doing that really well, then people will follow our way of living if we believe that it's the right way, rather than just telling people that they're doing things wrong. Because who am I to say, oh, Lance, you're bad, or Andy PG, you're bad, I'm right, you shouldn't be eating meat, these animals? Like, that's not my place to say that. All I can do is just do what I'm doing and wish what's best for you, and respect what you're doing on your journey. And I don't know what's right for anyone. Carnivore could do the vegan diet for 5 years, 7 years, and then that might be too much for her, and she could end up going back and needing plants. And like, oh my God, was I telling everyone that to eat meat? Or Sasha could be doing vegan diet for 9 years, and then down the line he realizes that he needs meat, and he's been telling everyone to eat a vegan diet. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, sure.
So you can do that vegan diet, do that for 10 years, and then you know that it's right for you. Carnivore, do your carnivore diet for 10 years, and then you know it's right for you. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, sure. That's all it's that we're all different. Do you get what I'm saying? So we need to stop thinking that. Obviously, you can say that if you're going in. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Is I reckon back in the day, everyone was 10, 15 years ago, everyone was eating this crazy ass meat that's been pumped with growth hormones, and animals that are kept in bad conditions and stuff like that, fed on soya and grains, and everyone started getting ill, and people started waking up, and the meat sales started drop, and they thought, fuck, the consciousness is upgrading. So what then they've done is shit soil, shit seeds, brought in loads of fucking shit fruit and vegetables.
That's a good point.
And brought in loads of fake vegan products anyway. So now then people are switched over from meat to vegan, but they haven't even detoxed and fast and cleaned out the mucoid plaque inside their body, and not even absorbing properly anyway. So now they're eating that, and they're not even eating real vegan food anyway. And they ain't even exercising, so they are going to look skinny, and they're going to look skinny, and then they're going to look malnourished. And a lot of people that are eating a plant-based diet ain't really doing it right. So,
Veg, you got just over 2 minutes left, mate.
Yeah, so it's interesting, really. There's so much that I could say about it. Hopefully, we can get people in, and we can do this.
Veg, I know. I'm just going to remind you. I did say on social media a couple of days ago. I tagged you in it. I said, "I want you to put the record straight about plant-based milks."
Yeah, we'll come on.
We're going to go into the milks another time. I'm saying if you're going to have milk, all these little the oat milk and almond milk, and they put it all in plastic. It's got BPA in it, innit? So it's like
milk comes from tits, not nuts, mate.
Yeah, do you get what I'm saying? So you're going to call it juice. Yeah, what I say is get hemp seeds or Brazil nuts or almonds, organic ones, soak them overnight, put them in a blender with distilled water, then squeeze them through a muslin cloth, and then drink that milk. I don't know why you're going in there and buying all this rubbish inside inside plastic with BPA in it. So that doesn't make any sense anyway. So
we got nano dust in
a lot of people they're calling themselves vegan, but I see someone on a vegan group online the other day saying, "Oh, we like Frutella. Frutella's just gone vegan now." Like, who eats Frutella? Frutella is just acidic. It's like, it doesn't make any sense. Do you get what I'm saying? So
Nutella?
Yeah, I don't even know. And it's like
Nutella?
Yeah. I don't even know. At the end of the day, it's insane, man. A lot of these people that are doing the plant-based diet, forget the word vegan, they're all eating garbage, man. Do you get what I'm saying? Drinking beers, smoking cigarettes, eating loads of white rice, eating loads of starchy vegetables, and stuff like that. They're definitely not doing it right.
Okay. So, Veg, thank you very much for your opening statement. That is the 15 minutes up.
Rice's
Okay,
life.
so that mate, there's a lot to unpack there.
There's some good points here and there, and then there's some that are just like really.
There's no
for Sasha to coming on here
going
today
off on
and for
strange
you guys
tangents
for
sometimes.
holding the space. And it's just part one. We are going to do it.
Well, this isn't a debate. This is a discussion. Shit,
Yeah.
what did I just do? And
I'm
there's no
not
premise.
taking a side here. I'm not taking a.
There's no premise. The debate moderators don't know how to structure a debate, so I doubt anything's going to happen but this weird discussion that's going to be all over the place.
Yeah, it's formatted.
So it's kind of disappointing.
Yeah, they could have done a little better.
Huh?
They could have done a little better for sure.
Well, it's just nobody knows what a debate is.
Yeah.
People just think getting people together and having them yell at each other or separating them as they talk is a debate, and that's just not what it is.
Sasha and
I put in their chat, I was like, you guys should have them agree on a premise to debate on, and because this isn't a debate unless there's like some specific point they're arguing.
Well, I don't really agree with any side because I'm not on the side. Everyone's got to work out what's for them. But I would like to see a part 2 of this. And yeah, thank you to you guys for coming on and sharing all your knowledge.
First. I'm just going to unmute you.
First, I want to say that was a really good comment. Milk from tits, not nuts. I like that.
I've not heard that before.
No. Second thing, so Sasha said that it's hard to kill animals. What makes it hard to kill animals? What makes it hard?
No, I never said it.
Yeah, I
never said it's hard to kill animals. No, I never said it like that. You paraphrased me terribly. But what I did say is we're not physiologically adapted to kill animals. Like, look, I've got no paws, no claws, like inadequate teeth and jaws. Like, I've got an L-shaped jaw that if I tried biting something, I'd fucking break my jaw. I mean, you need tools.
Let me just say something. Can I just get a bit of steak and show you how I can eat it without a knife and fork? And my jaw works.
I've done it as well, man. I've done it as well, man.
Get your steak.
It's fine. It's fine.
I think Sasha's point. I think Sasha's point was that we're as human beings, we haven't got the right physiology to kill a cow or something like that with your bare hands. You would have to use.
I would argue we're still the most advanced predator in this realm.
This is gonna
we need to do that. Get Carnivore and get a cow
without
and give her a
premise.
chainsaw, man.
Mate, you're not using one of my chainsaws.
Yeah,
right. So this is got into exactly what I didn't want to get into. Like, we're just fucking talking over each other. We're just talking over each other's bollocks.
Right, okay.
Not having it.
No, can you finish your point, Rachel? Finish your point,
Can I respond to the comments? I haven't been allowed to do that yet. So basically, we have hands so that we can make tools, and all throughout history, we've been found that there's, animal remains, and next to those animal remains, or on the animal remains, there will be marks from tools. We've always used tools, and throughout history, we've extincted many animals. So we are actually at the top of the food chain for that reason. We are the best predators out there. So we are very able to kill, hunt.
Okay, right. Let's hear a rebuttal from Sasha. Okay, I'm going to give you a point there. Not that we're taking the score, because I would tend to agree with that. We have made many animals extinct. We use tools to kill, not kills. Right. So,
exactly.
Sasha, come back with that, please. What are you saying?
All right. So all natural predators, like instinctive predators, instead of we've adapted to adverse situations. We've gone from eating our natural diet to being in situations where we're like, oh fuck, all right, I don't know what to do. Like, there's been a drought, there's been an ice age coming, there's been a flood. Right, I'm gonna fucking kill my mate. I'm gonna eat him. Oh well, that was quite nice. I'm gonna go and kill the animal. It's like, it's logic, basically. And then you start to use tools to kill people or kill other animals instead of build your house or whatever. And then you get into this kind of civilization where it's super predatory instead of we're creative, collaborative beings. We are the only species that has extincted other species. We're the only species that is stupid enough to think that we should go for the best animals, the strongest animals, unlike all other natural predators. Like, I say other natural predators because we're not natural predators. all natural predators go for the sick, the young, and the weak. They thin the herd. We are so fucking egotistical that we're like, yeah, I'm gonna get super jacked and super pumped. I'm gonna get the best animals. It's just stupid, and that's the logic that like people get from just eating loads of meat and not eating enough plants, which feeds the intelligence properly.
Okay, Sasha. What have you got to say to that carnivore fitness?
I don't think that he had a point. I think he said a lot of words. I don't think he had a point. There's not a point there.
Do you want to chime in on this, Veg?
You're just speaking
So
from
now
your
she's treating it like
emotions.
a
You're not
debate
speaking. You
somewhat.
said it's logic, but it's not. You're speaking from emotions, and it's not facts.
Can I just bite in with this? Whether we're predator or prey. I've got a lyric that goes, eyes straight forward like a predator, tunnel vision, focus on what's dead ahead of you. Right now, from my studies, all animals in the animal kingdom that are natural prey have eyes that tend to be on the side of their heads. So they have a larger field of vision to see the predators. Yeah. Well, our eyes are right directly on the front of our head, and we can focus in on things like a predator. So we do have predators' eyes. We also have canine teeth, like our alleged. Okay, do we not have canine teeth?
No, we don't.
Yeah, we got canine teeth. Yeah, we got canine
Yeah, so-
teeth, but they're not like that. You know, they're for like
Canine
nuts
teeth.
and shit like that. They're for cracking shit.
Can I comment on the canine teeth part?
Go on.
So I feel like the teeth argument from the vegans is the weakest argument out there. There are toothless fish that are carnivores. Are we going to tell them that they're not carnivores because they haven't got canines? There are so many animals with different
That's not a
shaped
good
teeth
argument.
that are still carnivores, or there's herbivores with canines. You know, I just think that the actual tooth argument is the weakest one yet. If you look out there, you can't say to animals, oh, by the way, you're not actually a carnivore because your teeth are that shape. Sorry.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Your turn, Veg. Your
It's
turn.
an ableist
I read in a
argument.
book before, like, I don't know if it's true or not, that we didn't have these teeth, and we had to kill the animals raw, and we couldn't chew through them because we didn't have these canine teeth, and so that's why we couldn't chew the animals raw. So we started applying the heat to the meat to make it softer, and then slowly we developed them canine teeth through mutation after we started eating it when it was cooked. But I read that in a book. I don't know how true that
So
is.
with that
nonsense. A bunch of people who don't know what they're talking about.
So I noticed as
Bro
well, Sasha, in your
science
presentation,
versus
that was
like,
kind of a little segue there.
I don't know, like,
just reminded me about something you said. So
like
for that, Veg, when you said
vegetarian bro
teeth,
science versus
happened
fucking
over
carnage
mutation or
bro
because of
science.
mutation, do you
The
mean
host tried to bring it back by
evolution?
spitting some
we
lyrics
evolved.
real
So
quick.
for that to happen, and Sasha as well, you mentioned like the evolutionary thing. You said that we were related to primates or something like that. For that to happen, that theory has to be correct, because that is still just a theory, isn't it? The theory of evolution.
Yeah,
And
it's a
it hasn't actually been proven that we were from primates and chimps. Because I personally don't believe that myself, but that's just my opinion. So, did anyone else want to address any of the other points from you guys?
Rachel's got a good point. Rachel's got a good point that the teeth argument alone is very weak. But if you put it with I'm not even going to go into it. I've put up in the chat. I'll put it up in the chat again once I stop speaking. But this dude, Milton Mills, he's got the best presentation out there. He promotes like beans and cooked food and shit like that. So his diet he promotes is not on point. He's a Christian and he does good work in the community, but he's not on the level that Dr. Morse and David Jubb are at. Like they're literally the pioneers of the movement with their knowledge.
No one's
his
learning anything
presentation
from
on
this.
our physiological structure and how we are compared to herbivores.
They bring people that are really not that well balanced, and there's no structure at all to the debate.
So I'll post that in the chat. But
what was the guy's name? Sorry,
Dr. Milton Mills. If you look at the teeth, if you look at the teeth alone, you're cherry picking. But I'm talking about the whole body. Like for instance, our gut. You talk about the serious acidity of our gut. You know, like maybe 1.5 up to 3, something like that. It depends. It depends on like what's happened in your life. It depends what's happened. You know, it does change. People have low acidity. People have blah 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 blah. So we should be at about 1.5, something like that. Maybe even less than 1. My teacher talks about, and that's to cleave apart. That's like we've got animals which are hind gut fermenters. We've got apes which are like, they've got these huge bellies. An adaptation that we had is to cleave apart high stomach acid, to cleave apart cellulose, so then we don't have to like ferment so much in our gut. And that's why we actually still have a hind gut fermenting capacity, and that's why we have like a gut which is a GI tract which is about 12 to 15 times the length of top of the head to tailbone. Whereas all carnivores and all land-based mammalian ones, they've got like 3 to 4 times the length, their GI tract. So, and that's because meat putrefies in the gut, like when you've got an omnivorous diet. If you're eating just meat, it definitely is a little bit different. It won't putrefy quite as much because you haven't got like a competition for like what needs to digest. So like if you're going to eat carnivore, like instead of keto, it's probably better, like if you don't mix stuff up so much.
Same thing.
Like, yeah, we're just not designed to eat it, basically. Like we can survive on it, but like we thrive on our species specific diet that our
But you
body
should
is
do cocaine
designed to acquire.
Yeah.
I just real
If
quick.
you eat a couple of tortilla crisps, you might have a little bump of cocaine.
I haven't done a lot of research into how long the vegan diet's been pushed or whatever of recent years, but I did notice personally that I've heard a lot of this argument about teeth since that documentary. I think it's called Game Changers. Is that I think, do you know that, Sasha? It's a documentary about being a vegan. I think Arnold Schwarzenegger's in it.
Right.
They had Nate Diaz. He was like, it was a few people in it, and it was very well funded, and they that was the first time I heard the argument about the teeth. I don't know if that's a recent
It's good propaganda.
Or, yeah. But
No,
what I'm saying is
it's an
that
old thing, man. It's an old
right,
thing.
yeah, okay.
One thing I'd like to say is that when
he just dismissed that documentary as propaganda,
very popular, a number of years ago.
He's got a few hot takes.
Point against it I heard
sure.
was that basically the rule of thumb in anthropology and the study of people and their trends, to get any kind of study of for instance, a diet, you would have to have a sample of a population of a minimum of 10,000 people adhering to the diet for their whole life, rigorously, for a minimum of 3 consecutive generations. And the argument was against veganism in the early days that it's basically an experiment, because obviously that has never taken place. That test has never, there are very few people or indigenous people in the world who are actual raw vegans or frugivores, whereas with the carnivore diet you can find examples of that, i.e. the people in the Arctic Circle. Also, I'd like to point out, in Africa, you have the very tall tribes like the Maasai who live on a diet of mostly milk and blood. They mix milk and blood from the cow together.
Really?
Yeah. And they're really tall, and they're the Africans that often go on to be the very successful
milk and blood.
Yes, milk and blood. All taken from the cow, so they live basically off because there's fuck all growing there.
Where's
this? Cattle in Africa.
In Africa.
Yeah, well, the tribes like the Maasai, the really tall ones.
Mate, I've never heard of this. No, I've never heard of this.
They make very good long distance runners because they're very tall and very lean, and they basically survive.
That's one of those talking points a lot of people are copying from each other lately. The Maasai.
So, I mean, that is still the case. Are there any vegan populations in the world that have been doing this for generations that we can call to as a good example?
No, at the moment we're basically the pioneers at the moment, and like there's starting to be permaculture projects all over the world that are starting it up. But yeah, it's been lost for a long time. There's been a lot of trauma. Meat eating is basically like a trauma coping mechanism. Can you imagine, like, you've got like a flood happens, and then like all the plant life that you used to eating is wiped out, and you're like, one of your friends has died, you try eating it because you tried eating some meat once. It's like it goes on from that, and then all of a sudden for like 200 years, like you don't know anyone that's eaten plants. Then all of a sudden, like the ice age or the flood has passed a bit, or it's like it's got better. Then all of a sudden you start getting plants again, and you start eating plants. Then there's so many plants which have been forgotten. You know, like animals have been extinct. There's so many seeds that we haven't sowed for such a long time that we've forgotten what our diet is. And it's only when you start to like heal your gut, you start to do fasts of like water fasts or juice or smoothie fasts, and then you start to tap back into your instinct. But it's like, with regards to Antarctica, with regards to the Maasai, it's like, if you can imagine like conquistadors in South America or in these faraway places, like people have been like brutalized, and like when you're eating meat, you're gonna be stronger. I'm not gonna lie. You're gonna like, meat eating is like I'm gonna kill or be killed kind of thing. You eat meat, you get that stress hormones, you get those growth hormones, you get those like, you get that pump, you know, especially if you're eating it raw. And yeah, like these people are living in these strange places. They've traveled, their ancestors have traveled to these strange places, and then they've lived for generations upon generations on an adaptive diet. They've had to adapt. They've had to do something which isn't natural to them because they've forgotten the natural ways. Yeah.
Sorry, I was just replying to a message there because I have a guest outside. Okay, so you know, we've talked a lot. We've talked about that. Are we adapted to eat meat or to eat fruit and vegetables?
I mean, I'll just make a quick point. Just you were talking about, and we were all talking about a generational thing, like that test has never been done. That all of that goes completely out the window if resets happen every 138 years.
Yeah. And it all goes out the window.
Yeah.
This is all a holographic simulation. So
I do have one point actually, which is just to finish that is this guy that the ketogenic and carnivore camp talk about quite a lot, Weston Price. He was actually looking for vegan tribes and he didn't find any, and that's because of this whole thing of like, everywhere has been trauma, everywhere has been war, but he was looking for vegan tribes. And even Anthony Chaffee talks about this, but he skirts over this. Anthony Chaffee says that we were originally plant eaters, but he just mentions it and then he skirts over it because he's a drug addict. You know, he's a meathead. He like eats meat like all the time because he likes to pump. He likes to look jacked. He likes to feel buzzed up. But you know, I know people who work as much as he does, Rachel, and they don't have bags under their eyes because they've healed on a cellular level. The bags under his eyes, the bags under my eye, the bags under my eyes, the bags under anyone's eyes is adrenal fatigue. It's adrenal.
What's your excuse? If you're on this amazing diet, what is your... I've seen in the comments, before you answer that, someone asked, a couple of people have asked how old you are as well.
Yeah. All right, so I've got no problem with saying that the last 5-6 years, I'm 38 by the way. No, just 37 2 days ago. Don't interrupt me. Yeah, you asked a question and you say, oh, it's just excuses. No, this is my reasons. I'm having a drink right now. I'm answering the question. I'm having a drink right now. It's not healthy. I've been eating fried food, comfort food recently because I'm lonely as fuck and I've had to relocate. And I've had an ex-girlfriend who's been reporting me to the police and lying and bullshitting. And I've had police persecution for the past 3 years. It's been fucking stressful. Stress ages you. And then comfort food ages you, especially seed oils. I've been eating tortilla chips. I've been eating bags of crisps. I've been having chips and gravy. I've not been treating my body well. So, and that's why I've relocated. I've relocated so I can get away from the bullshit that I've been having to deal with so I can find that space where I can eat clean. And at the moment, where I've been here in Portugal for like 3 months, I've been eating clean to a certain extent, but because I've been lonely, I've had to relocate and I've not been with tribe. I've not been with like-minded people on the same wavelength. I'm lonely, so I've been eating comfort food. I've been drinking alcohol a little bit more than I should. So I look like shit. I'm not going to lie. I look like shit. My skin is sagging. My collagen is fucked. I haven't been exercising as much as I it's been sporadic as hell. I've had police persecution for like the past 3 years on huge periods of time. Like all my peers who have detoxed and regenerated, they look fucking amazing. Me, I'm not gonna lie, I don't look good. That's
but listen,
it's
we're
not excuses,
we're trying
it's
to keep
reasons,
it
bro.
nice. We're not trying to character assassinate anyone or anything like that.
No, there's none of that going on here.
Yeah, we're just trying
it's a perfectly good question.
But obviously,
we're not trying to insult people or anything like that.
I don't look so good.
we're keeping it nice.
Yeah,
It's all
I don't
about
look
love
so
at
good
the
for
end
my
of the
age
day.
right
It's not
now.
about I want to prove my point so much that I want to try and put that person down.
Sure.
He looks like that, or she looks like that, or it's like.
No, Veg. Someone asked how
That's
old
a
you are.
valid point.
Yeah. No,
That's
it's
a
all good.
valid
It's all
point.
good, guys.
Look, I'm 40. I'm
It was a
40
genuine
in
question.
February. Look,
Can I-
I'm 40 in February. Yeah,
You're
I'm
40,
40
that's
in
crazy.
February. People
I'm
see
40.
me and they
Yeah, I
say,
was
"No
gonna say
way, are you
that.
nearly?" They like
She
they say
she
you look
doesn't look very
25 or
lean.
29 or something like that, and I'm nearly
Yeah.
40.
Thought all these
You got-
carnivores
you got a
supposed to be
baby
super
face,
lean
Veg.
and
If you
buff.
want to play that game,
Veg,
if you want to
I'm
play that
gonna
game,
give
get
you
on
a-
straight.
I mean, that's getting into like ad hominem territory. She looks a little. She looks a little high BMI for somebody who's on a weight loss diet.
Yeah, it's just she's she's like a carnivore 8. So like
Yeah.
they're all putting her on the podcast because she's like mildly attractive, but
Yeah.
she's not like fit or anything. You can tell she's a little puffy.
Yeah, and
Obviously
then you find
isn't doing the carnivore very well.
Yeah, and then you find the guy who is a little bit of seed oil away from throwing his entire life away to drug addiction. So
Yeah, seriously.
And this was something I've never heard before. You said about eye color, and that really intrigued me about saying green eye. Was it green eyes and brown eyes is a toxic?
No. Okay, yeah. So for white tribes and for tribes who aren't First Nations, they have they usually have an ochre, reddish brown skin color, particularly like wavy hair, like that dreadlocks really easily. They have originally fiery ochre colored eyes, like fiery eyes, and then they can go dark. They can get dark brown. Whereas us, like say white people, let's just say white people.
Yeah.
If we've got brown eyes, our body is toxic as fuck. If we've got green eyes, then there's a certain amount of toxicity in the body. I've currently gone from brown eyes to having green eyes. It's gone lighter and lighter, and then when I eat a bunch of comfort food, it gets darker. I've got a brown ring around my pupil, which is called it's the colon ring. That's gone from being dark brown to lighter brown, and I know that I'm gonna have blue eyes. I've got bets with people, like 100-pound bets, fucking 200-pound bets.
What is this guy talking about?
Health then for a quote unquote
I don't
white
even
person
know,
to
man.
have blue eyes. Would that mean that their meat suit is healthy? If they've got blue
pretty
eyes,
much.
because
So what kind of a diet? What kind of a
I haven't
detox
got the
diet to
healthiest
go
diet.
from like my brown eyes?
I've
to
smoked
blue?
for a long time.
I guess I got a lot of
No
toxins.
such thing, dude. This guy's completely full of shit.
Yeah. Let's just completely get rid of that genetic factor.
I've had blue eyes my whole life. When I was vegetarian, vegan, carnivore, sad diet, everything.
Yeah, you've been all over the place. So you think you would have seen your eyes start to turn brown? That's not a thing.
No way.
Yeah, that's a nutso argument.
Well, any of these arguments, and that's what like people get so caught up in, like, oh well, look at me, look at you, look at me, like there's only that's only worth very little, like you can have people that are super unhealthy that still look healthy, and you can have people that are super healthy look unhealthy. So it's not really an argument, but like if you're going out there as a health coach and you're not in very good health, it's a bit deceptive. And like all these carnivore influencers, they're all on steroids, but they say they got their muscles from eating this meat, and that's a big deception. That's straight up evil, like evil on so many ways. But they're being paid by big meat to push the carnivore diet, because in the last 10-15 years the meat we've been eating less meat, and so the obvious reaction, I know I've said this before, but the obvious reaction by big meat and dairy is to advertise more, get people on Rogan, shit like that, which is exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, they got to do damage control.
Yeah.
I smoke a lot of weed. I drink quite a lot. I've done a fair amount of drugs in my life, and I've got really nice, healthy blue eyes, and I'm a carnivore as well. I eat a lot of veg. I do eat a lot of fruit and vegetables as well. I do try to eat organic.
I don't think I could ever make
But
my eyes go
I've
blue.
always had blue eyes. So does that just mean I'm a lucky guy and I'm healthy? And because
No.
I'll tell you why.
It
I'm
means you've got
asking. It's because,
constitutional strength.
right. Okay. Because
It
I'll
means
tell you
you've
why
got
I ask.
genetics.
Because,
It means you've got good genetics. You
Okay.
haven't filled it full of like shit plant food toxins.
Right. Okay. Cool. Because
and your family hasn't. Your family's passed down good genetics.
Mainly my diet. Right? I try to eat like my grandparents. Yeah, just
weird line of logic.
Like meat and veg, like whole foods, like home cooked foods. And I do eat processed stuff. Like when I'm in a rush, like I had a pizza earlier that I bought from Tesco.
Yeah, £3 pizza.
So I'm not preaching my diet's healthy or anything, but I'm saying like my eyes are nice and blue. And I'll tell you why it fascinated me when you mentioned eye color is because I used to work for someone. Old friend of mine, he's a really good friend of mine, he's called Trevor, and he went to I think it was a homeopath or something like that.
This chat,
and the first thing they did was look at his eyes, like they got like right in there under almost like a microscope kind of thing, and they looked at his eyes, and they could tell what was wrong with him by what was going on in his eyes, and I didn't understand any of that, but that's why it fascinated me when you mentioned eye color equating to health.
This is like something someone said on Rogan.
It's a diagnostic tool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can I say one thing?
Sure.
Yeah. Basically, I was doing.
They said. So they said they were going to open the line.
But at the same time, let me say one last thing. Don't ever pick a side, because there's two sides to this argument. It's never going to be. Remember, go to
I don't know if I'm up for that right now.
Buy the Detox Miracle Source book and then go
I just want to go in and tell them that they need to
and go and check out Natasha Campbell. Who's got something called the Gap Style. Who's helping people use a little bit of animal products to rebuild gut bacteria. And she's going to go deeper into what Carnivore's saying, and she's going to go deeper into that. And they're both very educated people that are putting a lot of work and time and study into helping people. So my advice to everyone is, try it for yourself. Try what, like cleaning the body. Try the herbs. Definitely get a water distiller, and I say definitely start using herbs and just see what works best for you. Make an effort for it and see what works best for you, and don't get caught up in what everybody else needs and what's right for everyone else. What's right for everyone else, and you should be eating like this or you should be eating like that. Find out what's best for you and do what's best for you. Spread love and be a good example.
Let's come in with the voice of reason.
There we go, the inspector, ladies and gentlemen.
Did either of
I didn't have a button ready.
You didn't have a button ready. Did either our carnivore representative or vegan rep have any other points they wanted to fire at each other before I put something on the table that maybe we can all agree on?
I have a lot of points. I don't think I've actually been able to finish one point so far. So
it's your time.
It's a little bit frustrating. But I'm surprised actually that Sasha is 3 years younger than me, for one. For two, I wanted to ask you, if your diet is the natural human diet, why have you found it so hard to stick to?
Just trauma, just childhood sexual abuse, violent abuse from my mum, stuff that I'm still dealing with.
I'm not vegan because
I was autistic as well, so I actually had to get over that hurdle. And people say it's a neurodivergent. It's like, that's just like propaganda that's trying to get people to stay in a box. It's like, it's actually a neurodevelopmental disorder which comes from leaking
that outside of
heavy metals, vaccines, a whole bunch of stuff.
It's an excuse.
So I had a shitload of
all these guys. I got tummy problems. So
fair.
It's like,
I had a bunch of stuff to overcome already, as I said. Like, sexual
that's when you start getting the thing like the one dude was saying, you tend to do what works best for you. Some people can't do vegetables, and it's like, I don't think that's the case. I mean, it's
well, yeah, I mean, I agree with him in the like where he's like, do this for 10 years and see what's happened for you, not do this for a week and then go all over the internet and say it saved your life when it didn't, there's a big difference between those two things. All these groupthink cult of Joe Rogan, carnivore people have, they're all supporting each other. And they just say these things, and these things get passed around, these stupid statements that aren't real and that are based in no science. But this is a disappointing. I thought
sad excuse for debate.
Huh?
Sad excuse for debate.
Yeah.
Autistic as well.
And it doesn't seem like the guys who run it are very
follow what I think is the proper human diet, and I actually find it very easy to follow no matter what stress I'm going through. And actually, because of my diet, it makes all stresses that come towards me much easier to deal with. There's something called the carnivore calm that is very.
What about keto crotch, lady?
within the community of carnivores, and it's true.
I was actually going to share a clip on that I found from Red Bar.
You take it in your stride, and it's so much easier.
I don't know if you've seen that one
yet. It's so much easier to deal with.
It would be.
What I get from you, Sasha, is that you have a lot of excuses. So you talk a lot about excuses, and you talk about them in such depth, which distracts from the real reason that your diet is deficient and that you can't stay on it. Well, let me finish. You can't stay on it because it's a deficient diet. So 84% of vegans quit the diet within 5 years of starting the diet. And of them, 90% state that their health collapsed. And that's why they quit.
But you could do that.
Statistics are great for like spinning propaganda and lies. Like there's the simple fact that I'm not strong enough. I'm literally not strong enough. This is why I need to be in like a permaculture project or something. I need the social like aspect to my life to like stay on track. I need people on the same wavelength around me to stay on track, because I'm not gonna lie, I'm too fucking weak. I'm not as strong-willed as you.
You got to understand, it's not easy. If you've got things going on, you haven't got loads of things in place in your life, and you've got somewhere to stay, you've got an income, you've got loads of like-minded people about you. Everyone in the world, there's no really support if you want to live a clean life. Pubs, nightclubs, everyone's eating sugar, everyone's eating.
Sorry.
Really good. I mean, that guy just doesn't seem like he's fit for any kind of structured diet.
Yeah, he needs to do some mental health work, obviously.
Yeah. Like one small situation.
He be showing up for a debate.
Not feeling our own feelings. It's the feelings that we can't bear that control us.
I'll just throw a quick example out from my own life, right? I really like freshly squeezed orange juice for my breakfast in the morning. Like, I'll have bacon, eggs, and stuff like that for my breakfast, but I really like freshly squeezed oranges, and I really like organic oranges, right? And there's a company, it was about 15-20 minutes sometimes if the traffic's bad from my house, and if I want to go to the store and buy enough organic oranges,
like how the guy just bombs
squeezed oranges 3-4 days a week.
I just put it in a chat and she's on steroids.
So I have to go to this wholesale.
Look how red she is.
Yeah,
you can't be a carnivore influencer and not be on steroids. That's the whole thing. Like, that's the whole shtick.
Sometimes I don't want to do it, but it's, do you know what I mean? You have to be healthy and clean. You sometimes have to make more of an effort.
There's more forward planning
in this world.
It's not easy.
No,
easy.
It isn't easy. No.
Trying to live clean in this world is not easy. Listen to this one. Yeah, I get people that message me, that watch when I'm talking about eating clean on my Insta or the ground. They message me and they say to me, Inspector, I love this lifestyle that you want to do it, and I really, really want to do it. But my girlfriend won't help me, my family won't help me, and I'm going around and everyone else is eating toxins. Where the fuck do I go from here?
Yeah, and you feel overwhelmed quite easily.
And I just say, mate,
it's my lighting.
That's what they say to me. They say, no one's fucking backing me. And they say, I love the idea, but it sounds like a lovely idea. No one wants to fucking help me because everyone wants to fucking harm themselves. So basically,
did you see that?
Everybody wants to belong to
lighting, you motherfucker.
We want to belong to something. That's why we join religions and certain like that. And if we self-mutilate and we smoke weed and we drink alcohol, we do all this stuff, and we belong to something. Because that's what society is all about. It's all about, well, once you self-mutilate, you belong to something. And once you really start you don't eat till 12, and you have something nice at 12, and you stop eating at 7. You eat clean in between that, and you start to do breath work, and you start to meditate, and you start to choose that particular path, you will find yourself
looking off to the side like
lonely.
That's
You'll be a self-mutilator.
Rewatch
army with you everywhere you go.
Sasha, do you want to hit us with some of your thoughts?
Man.
Oh, yeah. I mean, she's right.
She's
right.
So
she can say it's excuses, but that's no compassion. And that's the thing is, like, these people who just eat loads of meat, they don't have compassion for their fellow human beings. They don't have compassion. They just go, oh, you're just making excuses. You know, we've all gone through some shit. You're just making excuses. It's like, nah, I'm just saying these are my fucking reasons.
Coming to a
you know, yeah, it's not a deficient
diet. Carnivore did have another question after that, didn't you?
Yeah, let's
you gotta do this more often.
Yeah, go.
So what is
restream debates
and telling anyone that I haven't gone through any of the things that you've just spoken about that you can't.
Yeah, it's even better when you got them reading the chat.
I'm not saying any of that. No,
because I don't speak about it, and it's not that I'm not being compassionate. here to talk about diet and which diet is the proper human diet. So I'm saying to you, if it is the proper human diet, you would be able to continue that diet no matter what.
Yeah.
Like I
will at some point. At some point, all in good time. When I get there. Like you, that's the thing is, when you're eating meat, you don't give a shit. Like you're on this buzz, you're on this do. You probably like do all day.
Like group therapy for this guy.
Could you eat and sit and meditate?
Yeah.
Could you sit and be by yourself and just like face
So it
whatever
sounds like
comes
he's
up
talking about
emotionally?
You know,
is he not actually vegan?
Yeah, but for how long? How long? Can you be with yourself by yourself? Alone for hours or days on end without like talking to people or having social
veganism.
We're going off track
because we're not because when you have to face that, then you either break down and cry all the time, or you have a spliff, or whatever coping mechanism that you have just to like get through the end of the day. And that's what it is. It's like I'm comfort eating because I'm just going through stress after stress after stress after stress after stress. Like what I've gone through in the past 6 years, I'm not saying you haven't gone through some shit. I'm just saying in the past 6 years, I've gone through some shit that like most people will never go through in their whole fucking life. And that's just what's been going on. But it's to make me strong. It's to make me a leader.
We're not having a debate about who's had the hardest time, are we? We're trying to debate what's the best diet.
I think we should keep the emotional stuff out of it.
Like carnivore. Is your diet dominantly straight meat? That's it.
There's meat, eggs, and sometimes dairy.
And what about? Do you use what sort of water do you use?
I use just normal water, not tap water.
What do you mean? What do you mean by normal water?
So I don't use distilled because I find that strips the water of everything. My mum distills, so I have hers, but only if she puts the minerals back in. So if we have the salt and things back in it, I just have I clean my water.
That was fucking
hilarious. How'd you clean it?
I'm dying.
I have a fridge that's got a filter that filters out
I'm
fluoride
waiting for her to
and
go
everything.
off on you, just like completely separate from everything.
No, I'm still negative.
Button on it. It's a water dispenser.
Yeah. So that's what I was gonna say. If you're using like the water distiller, the glass kettle, and then you're using the herbs inside that glass kettle, and you're having if you did like a fruit salad or raw food for a bit, and you're doing a meditation, you're doing a breath work and stuff like that. I've got one that a lot of people do on a Sunday with alchemy of breath. You'll feel a lot of things to come up to the surface, and things will be surfacing. But if it's mainly you're on the eggs and you're on the meat and stuff like that all the time, I'm not saying what you're doing is wrong, but there's certain things that emotional stuff that you're not going to be facing if it's just straight up meat like that all the time, I think. And then you're going to say, yeah, I feel great. And then you're going to say, yeah, I feel great, because you ain't got to feel your feelings most of the time, because you'll be more sedated. Do you get what I'm saying? And that's where it comes from.
You're not talking in truth. You're not talking in health outcomes. You're talking in emotions.
I'm talking in absolute truth, because when I was living on a permaculture farm near Glastonbury,
Carnivore lady has scurvy.
All vegan diet, all plant-based diet, and I was doing deep breath work all the time, breath work all the time.
Dude,
and there was one guy
debated Joey Schwartz. He got scurvy.
Man, it's a problem we should have had since like the
1500s
teaching.
Yeah, that's a centuries old problem.
Like teaching me practical work, like what's his name again? Dan. And he went round to the field, and I went to walk towards him into the field, and then he disappeared. Then I carried on walking towards him, and my whole face dropped, full of tears, dropping everywhere. And my thing was like, oh my God, I'm still looking for a father. And that came to me, But if I would have been standing there mashing out steaks 24/7, I would have never got to that space where the pain of not having a father that was emotionally, it was there, but it was never there. It was not emotionally available.
There's like
hero.
been
When
like
I was a little
7 or 8
baby,
people
I
now
looked
that
at him
have
like
been why is she so
that was
red?
my hero. And then for him to just start smoking weed, that hurt me.
hilarious.
And he was never there. So the pain of that made me continue at 39 years old, still looking
Imagine
for a
being
father.
vegetarian
If I was there
and being
eating
like
meat
a
and steaks and eggs
vegetarian
all the
activist.
time, I would have never ever found that out. Do you get what
I'm a
saying?
half-asser. I don't like.
So, have you tried to do that and seen the outcome? You're not comparing it to anything. So you've done one way.
I did it when I lived in Vietnam. When I was in Vietnam and I was living with the monks in Vietnam, we was eating like a plant-based diet. I was doing meditation every day, and my face, whenever it was around the table, it just dropped full of tears. Most of the time that I have had like gone into like real pain and stuff like that, it would be more plant-based diet. But I can remember I've gone into a few like wounds that I had when I had a few eggs or something like that. And yeah, I think I did have a few eggs.
These guys
and
need
I've gone into my
counseling and not
emotional
a
stuff.
vegan
So I
diet.
think
Yeah,
it's
exactly,
not.
Ashley.
Yeah, you could probably do it when you're having some. I'm not saying that you can only do it on a pure vegan diet. You probably could hit wounds when you're having some animal products. But I'm saying if you're talking about deep healing and you want to get into your sensitivity and feel into the subtle sensations in the body, it's going to be easier to do that on a raw vegan diet.
But then also notice how she's not really getting into that emotional space. I guess.
Where's the truth coming from?
Again, I think these, you know, everyone has their own
anecdotal, isn't it?
That's what I think. That's not the truth. That's not the truth. Anyway, I'm gonna say that is what I believe. Remember, I did a lot of.
This is all everyone's personal.
Did she like interrupt me
to
yell at me?
So I apologize. Basically,
no.
I think
and she's gone.
I think I've integrated certain truths through purification of the body, and I've been deep into it. So I think I just personally believe for myself. If you want to go into the pain, it's going to be, you ain't got to be 100% clean. But I think if you're more living a bit more cleaner diet, then it's going to be easier to get into the pain. That's what I believe anyway. So I'm not saying that it's black and white.
Okay. Carnivore Fitness, did you have any more that you on your bullet points that you were waiting
I
for?
do. So I saw someone wrote on the comments that she's got scurvy. And
that's not very nice. Can we keep it?
Like the moderators in the chat. Come on, guys, let's be honest about
that. So
no, don't even write that. Don't even write that. That's not. What is scurvy?
It's a vitamin C deficiency, and basically you start getting bleeding gums. You get quite.
Don't even respond to that comment. Don't even respond to comment.
I'm going to respond to it.
Not respond to the
vitamin
comment.
C, basically,
it's a legitimate
to have scurvy, you need to be vitamin C deficient for 6 weeks. Now, I've been on this diet for 5 years in April, so I'm like 4.5 years late on this scurvy train I haven't got yet.
5 years.
Yeah, because scurvy,
that kind of carnivore, that dedicated.
When sailors used to suffer from scurvy, it used to come on very quickly.
Yeah.
So that, So whoever put that in the comment section, you're a fucking dick.
Yeah, I mean, there's all sorts of wild comments in there, which I completely understand. Like people saying that I've got a red face. It's the lighting. I don't have a red face, but I can't actually show that because it's the lighting. Anyway, that doesn't matter. I've got so people are saying that each individual would have a different diet, and you know, so what works for one doesn't work for the other. So I agree with that mentally diets don't work for everyone, and your mind is very powerful. So if you're not in it, you're not going to be able to do it, and people have to do what's sustainable for them in the best possible way. I'm not against the vegan diet. I do think it's deficient, and I do think eventually people will end in their health collapsing. I've seen it many times, and a lot of my clients are ex-vegans because of that.
Of course.
Now, as for saying that everyone needs an individual diet, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with the blood type diet. I don't agree with the any of those kind of diets that are out there. I actually think they're completely wrong. So what animal in nature, so look, if you're looking at a herd of elephants or you know, some gorillas or whatever, which diet do they have to, like, which elephant has a different diet to another elephant? Which dog has a different diet to another dog? I mean, obviously we feed dogs, so we feed dogs some absolute rubbish. And I
think Lewis Hamilton's actually got a vegan dog. He feeds his dog a vegan dog. I think that's actually a thing. Yeah, I agree. I think that's actually a thing.
Yeah, someone else mentioned that Arnold Schwarzenegger was in the Game Changers. Now, so people have been mentioning Sean Baker. I know Sean Baker personally. He's an amazing guy. I worked for him for 2.5 years as his podcast editor. I was a coach for him for 3.5 years. He is a very good man. He's not on TRT, like people keep saying. Now, he done a debunking of that Game Changers that is really good if anyone wants to find that.
I remember that. I've seen that. That debunking of Game Changers.
Yeah, there's quite a few of them out there by different scientists and things. So, yeah, that's all good.
Well, also, Carnivore. Can I say one thing? That remember we was at the rally, yeah?
Hold it before I forget. Hold it. Wait.
Let her finish, please.
So they said about Arnold Schwarzenegger being in the Game Changers.
That was me, yeah.
He was only in the Game Changers because it was his friend that was producing it. Now, if you look at the setup for Game Changers, every single athlete. Did you know it took them 8 years to make that?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did a dive into that because as soon as I saw Arnold Schwarzenegger and that promoting being a vegan, I was like, this is something fucking wrong with this.
Yeah. So I've met Arnold Schwarzenegger and I've trained in the same gym as him. Going back, it was before I was Carnivore, like 5 years ago, 6 years ago. And and it was around the time that the Game Changers was being made. He definitely wasn't vegan when I met him.
Yeah.
That's for sure. And just after they did that documentary with him, he released a video after that, literally just after, saying that his favorite food is steak. And he took them to his fridge and he made a vegan, we called it plant-based, pea protein
deleting the
protein drink.
Baker
and he put a whole egg with the shell in that and blended it up and then drank it. And he said that's how he does it all the time. The guy is not vegan, he never has been and he never will be. He is basically in it for the money. And unfortunately, we've seen the recent years, he is a bit of a shill. He's a bit of a sellout. He's trying to tell everyone to stay in and take some things that we shouldn't have to take.
Yeah, we've got to tell you, screw your freedom.
I think me personally, I think that documentary was put out to try and make people switch to veganism who couldn't afford to do that. So they would then all eat the processed, dirty vegan junk food and just completely fucking destroy
dirty vegan
junk. That's what I thought that was for.
James Cameron, who was the producer of that, had actually got the whole thing together, and he was obviously the director of Terminator.
Yeah, and he's not vegan.
Got a lot of money, but the thing that they are is they both own shares in pea protein. And what are they pushing? Pea protein. Come on, guys, it's not hard. So
pea protein. Can I say one thing? Pea proteins. Pea protein's not even natural. Arnold Schwarzenegger, I think he was when he was just eating loads of meat and he was doing the weights and that. I remember he had a triple heart bypass. But another thing we should be talking about is herbs, because I've had people that watch me on Insta, and I've had one guy, he's saying, "Oh, he's rolled up in bed. He's got bad lungs and stuff like that. He's had these tablets. He's having a really bad throat." I said, "You need the Mulane." He sent me money. I sent him the Mulane. He's drunk two, 3 cups. He says, "My throat's all got better. I'm better. I'm now because I know that's for the lungs." I've been over the market before when I lived in the market, sitting there with all my herbs on the desk. Some mates goes, "Look at my mate's skin. He's got really bad skin."
Yeah, this week has been crazy. I had
spots and that. I said, "Oh, you probably got blood issues." I gave him the red clover. He jumped the red clover.
I had to upgrade my StreamYard account because they're like, "Dude, they said that I'm podcasting in the 10% upper percentile." They're like 90% of people who use StreamYard aren't using it as much as you do. They're like, "You got to start paying." I'm like, fine.
Yeah, I want to look at some of the perks you get from that, because I'm kind of curious to dig more into like what StreamYard's capable of.
Well, they have a lot more perks than they did last year, or at least 6 months ago. There was barely anything, but there's all kinds of stuff. But I think it starts getting heavier. It's a really light program, so it's easy to run on with limited internet or on your phone. But once you start doing stuff, like using the perks on there, well, there's effects and stuff. But yeah, this is really boring. This is a very useless debate. These guys don't know how to moderate. But the chat was fun. That was hilarious. She got so mad.
Need to get a clip of that.
Yeah, I definitely got to clip that.
The time lapse of it, just like you typing in that comment, and all of a sudden she interrupts the one dude.
And her reading it and getting livid. That was too funny.
Obviously, she's got some points that sting a little bit. She's not fully confident in her diet.
Yeah. Well, she's trying to make money off of this diet, which is what all these guys are trying to do. And that's one of the main reasons why I have a problem with a lot of these guys.
Yeah.
Because they're getting paid to ruin people's health, and it's shocking. But yeah, that was pretty funny. I don't know. It's not really. I mean, I guess if they open.
2 weeks later, I come back.
wise and vegetable.
That would be,
and then you know, what I mean, you can cultivate what will grow in your local zone,
open up
as
the
well
line
as
a little bit, let people
meat that you hunt and catch and stuff like that, and livestock that you raise. But
that would be pretty fun. But it's getting really boring, and I got 6 more hours of podcasting ahead of me.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go take a breather before getting back on at 4. Are you gonna be here?
Yeah. Is that
Cool.
when we're doing? Oh yeah. We got 4 because we got the one dude.
Did your buddy? Did that guy you hit up? Is he gonna come by?
He was saying he's not he's not in like a podcasting mood right now, but it sounds like it is like on the table.
Yeah,
so that would be pretty cool because he's deep into like philosophy, and it sounds like he's pretty neutral on like veganism, so it'll be cool to just kind of see where he's at with like, you know, the freedom movement kind of stuff, if he's delved into that at all.
So his channel's called Debunking Carnism.
Which guy?
Is his channel called Debunking Carnism? Is that what I read?
Oh no, that was what Devin was talking about.
Oh, that's a different guy.
Yeah, different dude.
Got it.
Yeah, I'll send you a little more on the dude that I was talking about. But yeah, we'll have to start seeing if you know, like I think Devin mentioned like 2 different people that could have come on. So
yeah,
there's like that one Craig dude, and then I think it might be the same guy, Debunking Carnism.
Yeah.
So many names and channels to keep track of right now.
Well, I'll be back at 4.
Okay. All right, I'll be ready.
Late.
Long day. Peace.